Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. I hope you are having a fantastic day so far. I hope today's been treating you well. In today's video I am continuing my 3 looks with series with the Cosmic Brushes Cooltrals palette. I'm going to be creating 3 hopefully completely different looks using the Cooltrals palette. I have already done a first impression with the Cooltrals palette and I like swatch it out and everything, so if you want to see more of like a deep dive into the colour story and the finishes and everything like that, and I also create a look in that video. If you want to see that, I will leave it linked up in the cards. And I do also have this whole 3 looks with video for the Neutrals palette. I have already done the Neutrals palette in 3 different looks, so again, if you want to see that, I will leave that one up in the cards as well. But today I'm doing 3 looks with Cooltrals. So this is look number 1. I went more like purpley and like a halo eye. Very glam. very glam just for a Monday evening. But that is the look that I created for look number 1. Look number 2 is this one here using the Cosmic Brushes Cooltrals. And then finally, look number 3 with the Cosmic Brushes Cooltrals palette. So if you want to see how I created those 3 looks, starting with this one here, then just keep on watching. Okay, so look number 1 with the Cooltrals palette, and I think today I did just watch back my swatching and first impression review of this palette because it's been more than 2 minutes and I can't remember what I did in that, what colours I used or anything like that, and I didn't want to basically just create the same look again. So in that review I did Tempting and I did more of like a lilac-y purpley sort of look. I think today I want to use Gravitate up in this top corner. So if I hold that up, can you see how that's shifting? It's really pretty. So I think I want to use that one and more of like the plummy, purplier, like, yeah, plummy, reddy tones, sort of in that area. Then we can do more of a blue look and then maybe more of a grey look. In case you don't know, I never have any idea what I'm doing, so we're just making this up as we go along. So I'm going to start with a brush. I'm going to start with a fluffy brush and I'm going to dip into Eternal, this matte shade on the top row. It's more of like a pinky nude shade. So I already have my P. Louise eye base on and I don't have any of the rest of my base makeup on, so we can clean it all up. Oh, I thought I couldn't see very well in the mirror. It's still got the little thing on. That would explain it. Oh, that's much better. I can actually see my face. Okay, how perfect is that for a transition tone for my skin tone? I love that colour. I actually think I want to do something a little bit more like a halo eye. I feel like it's been a while since I've done a look like that, so I'm just going to go straight into Grounded, that darker like purpley plummy sort of a shade, and I'm taking this on more like a tapered blending brush and I'm just going to get that right on the end of that brush. I am also tapping it off because these are very pigmented, and I'm going to tap that on the outer corner and the inner corner. A little something like that. Oh, I really like that colour. I feel like this is basically just blending itself out. Like, I feel like the use of the brush, like the shape of the brush and the way that this colour is like blending into that Eternal. Easy. Really easy. So I'm just going to build this up a little bit, right on the outer and inner, and then what shade do I want to deepen this up? I feel like Natural is the obvious answer, but I could use Midnight But then I don't know if Midnight would go with the shimmer that I want to use. Maybe natural. So I'm taking a much smaller, this is a Cosmic Brushes brush actually, this is the CB4. I love this brush. It's perfect for doing this job specifically. So I'm just going to take a little bit of that natural, which is like a really dark cool toned purple, and I'm going to tap that right on the outer and inner corner, and the shape of that brush just fits. It just fits and like packs that colour on exactly where you need it to go. It's like these brushes are just so well thought out. I love all of them. Like so many of the shapes of these brushes are just perfect. So then I'm going back in with that first, the second brush rather, back into a little bit more of grounded. I'm just using that to tap over the edge, but again, blending with no effort, which, as we all know, is the level of effort that I have. Especially today, if you can't tell by my voice. I've had tonsillitis. I have not been too well. So if I get croaky, if I get sore, that's why. I'm still getting over that, but the show, it must go on. So I'm gonna call that a day. Might just add a little bit more of that natural shade on the outer corner. I want to do something more rounded on the outer corner, but obviously I will have to finish that up when I have everything on under the eyes. But I think I'm just gonna go in with my finger, and let me just swatch this shade for you first actually, so that you can see how incredible this shift is, because it's something special. Like, I do feel like my lights don't necessarily help with these like multi-chromes because there's just so much light coming at them. But that's like grey and pink and green. It's just beautiful. And I'm just going to tap that straight from my finger onto the centre. And as I tap this over where we've got those matte shades, it just blends in beautifully and creates that dimension with no effort. Which, like I say, is the amount of effort that I have. So I'm just going back in with that brush that we used for grounded, and I'm just tapping over the edges, but I don't want to disturb this too much because honestly, like laying down that colour with your finger just looks so smooth and so reflective, and you get that multi-chrome shift, and I don't want to disturb that too much. So I'm just like blending over all of the edges very, very lightly. I might actually go in with Secret, because that's more of like a purpley shimmer, and I might just take a little bit of that. Yes, I think that will work. Right onto the centre, but just on the lid. Yeah. I really like that shade as well. I don't think I've used this one yet. I have been playing with this palette like in my real life to, you know, just to play with the shades and get used to the shades and everything. But I don't think I've used that Secret shade yet. And that's real pretty. I feel like that's bringing out more of that purple undertone. So I'm just going to go back in with that first brush and really, really blend out all of these edges. Yeah, I am very, very happy with that lid. So I'm going to go off and do the rest of my base, and then we can do something. I mean, I am going to like clean up this area. I feel like that doesn't look too cute, but I'm gonna like clean this up, do the rest of my base, and then we can do, obviously, a very smoky under eye. I will probably do a wing. Who saw that coming? But I feel like these like plummy tones really bring out the colour of my eyes, and I love that. So I'm gonna stop rambling, I'm gonna do the rest of my face and then we can do the under eyes together. Okay, so that is the rest of the base done, and I actually thought that we could finish up the whole of the eye together. So I don't have my liner or mascara on yet, but I want to do under the eyes before I do that. So I'm going to go in with that same little brush, and I'm going to dip into that transition tone that I used, Eternal. I'm going to dip into a bit of that lightly and run that all the way along under the eye, and obviously smoke it out quite far. And then I think just that grounded shade, like more so on the outer corner, just to like tie it in with the lid. And that will probably be me just about done. So I'm going to take that much smaller brush and dip into Grounded, which was the darker, well, like the mid-tone that I used on the lid, and I think just a bit of that sort of smoked out on the outer half-ish. I feel like that will just sort of round out that outer corner, and also like tie it in with what I've got on the lid. I can never do this side, like my hand's coming from the wrong angle. Yes, see, a little something like that. It just like rounds out that outer corner and also like ties everything in. So for the liner, I'm going to go in with Made by Mitchell Crazy Purple Lady to like try and bring out a little bit more of this purpley, and also this is a metallic or like a glittery liner. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and then for mascara I'm going to use the Essence Lash Like a Boss, which is one of my favourite mascaras at the minute. So let's do the liner first. Yes, I feel like that purple liner has really worked well with the like purpliness on the eyes. So then just a few healthy coats. You know me. You know I love a lot of mascara. I mean, I don't really want to cover this up, so I really like how that looks, but a few healthy coats of mascara nonetheless. Yes. I mean, a lot of mascara is always going to make me happy, but I really like how this has turned out. It's dark and it's like grungy and smoky, but I think that this is like quite a wearable sort of purpley look, with the addition of that beautiful like multi-chrome. I really hope that you can see how like shifty that multi-chrome is. I think it's beautiful. So let me sort my hair out, and then that's look number one done. So I do definitely think for look number two, I'm very interested in magnetic on the bottom row. I think that that could be really pretty. And then look number three, I honestly might just do something like grey and black, which is very out of my comfort zone. So if you like that, then stay tuned. But yeah, I definitely think magnetic, that like blue, like electric blue, beautiful bright blue shade definitely is talking to me. So that will be coming up in just a few moments, but I would love to know what you think of look number one, and I will see you in just a moment for look number two. Okay, so look number two with Cooltrals. I already have some tape on because I've got an idea. I very rarely come into these videos with an idea, but I think I've got an idea of what I want to do today. I think I want to use magnetic which is this shade down at the bottom, which is like a shimmer. And I think I want to do like a smoky sort of wing with Magnetic and Midnight, which is like the deepest, darkest, richest like navy blue, and do like a smoky wing with Magnetic as like a metallic-y sort of a wing, and then either reveal as like a bright inner corner if I want a shimmer, or crave that pink for a matte option. So I'm just going to dive straight on in because I don't want to overthink it. So let me zoom you in and we can just start. I'm going to start with a big fluffy brush, and I'm going to just warm up through the crease a little bit with Eternal to add a little bit of something through the crease, you know. I need to shuffle down in my chair when I zoom in. So a little bit of Eternal through the crease. And thank you so much for your recommendations on my last video for like cosmetic tape, because this is just sellotape. This is literally just what you wrap a parcel in. And I take off the sticky like on the back of my hand so that it's not like pulling 100% of my skin off when I remove it. But I am going to purchase some actual cosmetic tape. I do think that that would help me. Then I'm taking a smaller, slightly more densely packed brush. This is clean, it's just stained a little bit blue. I still haven't gotten around to cleaning any of my brushes, but we're not talking about it, okay? We have agreed. We have agreed to not talk about it, and I'm going to go into that Midnight shade, that dark matte blue. It does just look black, but it's not. Like, this is a black matte, and that's like a really, really deep blue. So I'm just going to take a little bit of that on like one side of the brush, and I'm going to tap it sort of along the lash line and onto that tape where I want this wing to like start. But that was incredibly pigmented. And then I'm just wiping off that brush. I'm going to just use the same one, just wiping it off on a little bit of tissue, and I'm going to, with no more colour, just buff over that top edge just to blend it in. And I feel like where that colour is like blending out, it's blending obviously, but the colour that goes when it is blended out is just beautiful. Like, you can tell there that it's like a blue, not a black, and I really, really enjoy that. So just tapping over all of that top edge to really blend that in. And I'm not worrying about anything on the lower lash line at this point because I'm going to clean that up. Obviously I haven't got any foundation or anything on yet, so I'm not too worried about anything under the eyes. Then I'm just going to go back in with that first brush and carry on blending over the top and blending that in like sort of through the crease a little bit, like blending that colour through that way, again just to help it blend. Then I'm taking a slightly more dense, not quite a pencil brush, it has still got quite long bristles, but just taking a slightly more dense brush, and I'm going to go into that Crave shade, that pink matte shade, and I'm going to start like putting that on the lid. I'm just like working that product, like I'm dipping into the pan and then stamping it off, like stamping the product in on the corner of the palette to like disperse the colour, and I'm gonna pack that on the lid on like the inner corner a little bit, and like again blend that in with the blue that we've got that's like smoky. Okay, so I did just use a little bit of that Crave shade, that lighter pink, to like really blend that blue onto the lid. So I've got that Crave, that light bright pink, I've got that packed like right on the inner corner, and I've also like swooped it across the lid to blend in with that blue, and I'm really happy with how that looks. So I want to go in with that shimmer now, and I'm like, do I use a brush or do I just use my finger? I think my fingers are probably... I'm too clumsy to use my fingers, so I need a brush. So I'm taking a dense brush, a very, very dense brush, and I'm dipping into that magnetic shade, that blue shimmer. In fact, let me swatch that. Oh, actually, that looks more purple. In the pan, that looks really blue, but on the swatch, that looks really purple. Never mind, I'll still use it. And while we're here, let me dip into that reveal shade, because do I want some of that as well? Possibly. Let's start with magnetic on that flat brush, and I'm just like swiping into the product there to pick it up, and I'm going to try and pack that onto that wing. That's not really showing up how I wanted it to, so let me try and use my finger carefully. I mean, obviously this side's messier because I haven't blended anything, but can you tell a difference there? A little bit. I mean, I'm going to have to even myself up anyway. I thought that that was going to be more... just more. I thought it was going to be more shimmery. It's more of like a... sort of like a satiny finish. Like there isn't a great deal of reflect to that. If I had swatched that first, I would have known that. What do we learn from this? I mean, nothing. I am just making this up as I go along, right? Please just give me a little minute to blend here. I'm getting myself comfortable. Okay, so I think I have managed to make that work. I feel like I'm not going to be able to quite tell until I take these off. I'm also not quite going to be able to tell until I clean up under the eyes. Let me just do that. I like it. I do like it. I like the way that that pink is like blended into that midnight shade. I like where we're at. It's just, I was just expecting more from that midnight shade. I was expecting more reflect. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do the rest of my face. I might then add... do I want to add some of that reveal shade? I mean, we're here. Let me do that. I'm going to just take it on my finger and I'm going to tap that basically all over. I might actually just tap that down the middle and then blend it out because that's blue. Okay, so that reveal shade saved the day. This is like a pastel pink to blue with that blue chunky glittery beautiful shade. Absolutely not what I thought this was going to be, but I like how this looks a lot more now with that reveal shade over the top. So I think I'm gonna go off and, well, I'm gonna go off and do the rest of my face, but I think I want to use that Technic liner, the metallic blue liquid liner. I know. Just let me have it. Okay, just let me have it. Let me go spruce and then we can finish up under the eyes together. Okay, so that is the rest of the face done. The lighting is going a little bit crazy because I'm currently watching the sunset. It's quite late, but just forgive that there's like a lot more light at this side. It's all I can do. With my current setup, it's all I can do. So I'm going to go back in with that brush that I really packed on that darkest blue colour with. And I'm not going to take any more colour, but I just feel like I need to like fiddle a little bit on this outer corner. I did start packing that pink right onto the inner corner, and I was like, you need to do that with the cameras on. So there is a little bit of that pink on the inner corner, but I'm gonna finish it all off with you now. I feel like that blue liner, which is the Technic Euphoria Metallic Liquid Liner in the blue shade. I love these. I feel like that goes really nicely. Like, that's the vibe, more of the vibe that I was going for. So just adding a little bit more of that blue further out there, and then I'll just, again, really intensify that pink, like across the lid a little bit more, really brighten it up. I'm actually surprised at how much I like this light pink shade. Like, I feel like that's really added something, considering I thought that this whole look was going to be very, very blue. I really, really like that. So I'm just going to take that same brush that I was doing the blue with, and I'm going to go into Midnight, but I'm literally going to go like this. In fact, I might even like stamp that on my hand a little bit to get rid of a bit of that colour, because it's a very, very dark, very pigmented colour. Yeah, see, that's plenty. So just running that all the way along the lower lash line, all the way along. And then I'm just taking that fluffier brush and very, very lightly dipping into Eternal, that very first like transition-y tone, brownie transition-y tone that we put through the crease that you can't see now because I've really packed that pink on, but it's there. It's there. So I'm just going to use that to like buff over the edge of that blue. Yeah, I like that. So I'm just going to do a little bit of mascara. This was the Milani highly rated anti-gravity mascara. Honestly, I think if there was a lighter, slightly pinkier shimmer, I think I might use that, but there isn't one. So I'm like, do I just leave it matte? I think I'm just going to leave it like that. I'm happy with how that looks, and I feel like having a matte inner corner for me makes it feel quite different, because I always do a blinding inner corner highlight. So that is the finished look. Absolutely 100% not what I thought this look was going to turn out like, but I really, really like how this has ended up, despite the struggles, despite that blue shimmer not being basically at all what I was expecting it to be. I mean, it's still a nice shimmer, don't get me wrong, it's still beautiful, it's just not what I thought it was. So that is look number 2 completely done. Again, I would love to hear what you think of this one, and for look number 3 I definitely think I'm going to do something more cool toned. I definitely want to use Moonlight, that bright like pure silver, and also this matte black with little shimmers in it, which is called Eclipse. So I'm definitely thinking something more grey, which is not my comfort zone. This feels more comfortable to me than like a grey black smoky eye, this like pink and blue moment. But I'm gonna try and create something quite different again, and I feel like having that more silver vibe will make it quite different anyway. So I will see you in just a moment for look number 3. Okay, look number 3. Firstly, tonsillitis. Sounds a lot worse, but is actually a lot better. Secondly, I am under a small, time constraint today. I am actually needing to leave the house at 2 to go to watch Bill Bailey live in the open air theatre in Scarborough, and it's a little drive away, and I am not currently ready, and it is 12:30, which seems like a lot of time. But I don't know what I'm wearing. I'm not ready. I don't know what shoes I'm wearing. I don't have a bag packed. I'm not ready. So we need to do this a little bit speedy. I need to stop talking. I need to just get ready. So I'm going to do something. Obviously I'm going out. I'm leaving the house. I'm being a bit glam. So I am going to do something a little bit glam. I mean, I do a glam just for an everyday anyway, but I want to do something more with like the black shades. I want to do like a grey sort of smoky eye, and I think I want to like highlight the eye. I want the shimmer to be Moonlight, this beautiful bright silver shimmer. I don't think I'm going to do anything crazy because, like I say, time constraints. So let me zoom you in and we can do something sort of grey toned. I'm going to start with a fluffy brush and I'm going to dip into Cooltral, this matte grey. Let me shuffle down a little bit and let's start working that through the crease. I already have my Beauty Bay eye primer on and my brows. These are the brow products out of my Project 10 uses. If you haven't seen that video, go watch it. I'm very excited about it. So that's what the brow products are, and I'm just working this grey shade through the crease. Obviously I've already got some tape on because I am leaving the house today and it is also incredibly hot. I do already have my SPF on and everything, so I'm hoping to not get too much fallout so that I'd have to wipe that away, because it's very hot today and I'm going to be spending a number of hours outside in the sun, so I'm hoping to minimise the amount of fallout but also get quite a glam look. I actually haven't filmed in like a week. I think it's been about a week since the last couple of clips that you've seen, just because the tonsillitis started getting better and then it just got worse again. I completely lost my voice yesterday. Like this, I sound like a teenage boy, but this is such an improvement on where we were yesterday. So I'm just gonna wipe off this brush. I still haven't washed any of my brushes. Do you think I've been in the mood to wash brushes? Absolutely not. So taking a fluffy, more tapered brush, and I'm going to go into Natural, this matte down in this corner, which I know is more purpley, but I don't want to go straight into the black. The idea of doing that scares me a little bit, so I'm just going to pack this on the lid, on the outer half-ish, and again drag it out into that tape. Then I'm just buffing back over with the first fluffy brush into Cooltral again, and just buffing over the top edge of that slightly more purpley shade to like blend that in. And I'm happy with that. So then I'm going back in with that smaller brush and I'm going to dip into Shadow, which is the matte black. And I'm taking the tiniest little bit of that because this will be very, very pigmented, and very, very lightly I'm tapping that over the outer corner of the lid there. Okay, so I'm really happy with how that's looking. I'm happy with how dark that is on the outer corner, but it is like blending through the crease and everything. I like how that looks. So I'm just going to take my finger and I'm going to dip into Moonlight, that bright silver, and I will lean forwards so that you can see how this looks, because I'm sure that this is going to be like a lot, which is exactly what I want. So I've got a little bit of that Moonlight shade and this the area where I'm putting it is still tacky. So obviously I haven't put any shadow there yet, and I'm just sort of tapping and pressing that in, which almost makes it like melt into a foil and no fallout. That is what we like to see. So I'm just taking a pencil brush because I can't, my nails are quite long at the minute and I can't get into that very, very inner corner, but I'm going to go in with a little bit of reveal because it's more of like that shifty shade. So I'm just laying that on the side of that brush and I'm packing that on right into that inner corner. I don't think this shade enjoys being laid down with a brush, but there is simply no way that my fingers will get into that very, very inner corner. So a brush it must be. So I'm just going to go back in with that brush, fluffier, smaller tapered brush, and tap over the outer corner of where I put that shimmer. I'm going to go back in with a little bit more of that natural shade, the purpley shade. Just tap over that to blend that in. I do think I'm going to need to wipe under the eyes a little bit, but I can reapply the SPF. That is absolutely fine. So that is how all of that is looking. Am I happy before I take that tape off? I think I am, you know. I think I am. I'm also very much aware of the time, so that is how that's looking. I'm gonna go off. I'm gonna do the rest of my face. I'm gonna wipe under here and then reapply liberally my SPF, do the rest of my base, and then I'll come back and we will probably add a wing together. Because of course this look, I feel this look needs a wing. I'm also going out, so of course I need a wing. So I will do that and we can finish up the eyes together. Okay, so that is the rest of the face done. I did just have to get the hair out of my face. I'm getting very, very hot. So I'm going to finish up under the eyes before I do liner and mascara, which I will do with you. But I want to just finish up under the eyes first. So I'm going to take that small sort of tapered brush and I'm going to dip into Cooltral again, that lighter sort of grey tone, right on the end of that brush, and I'm going to run that all the way along under the eye. Of course, we're going smoky under eye. Who saw that coming? But that's what I feel like I need today, okay? I'm not well, so just let me have what will make me feel a little bit better. So, adding this under the eyes. Then I will just use exactly the same brush and I'll dip into Natural, which was that more purpley shade, just to deepen up a little bit further out here. And I am going to like join that up with what I've got on the top and just sort of tap over a little bit over that line that we created with the tape, just to soften it a little bit and blend it in with that on the bottom lash line. So then I'm going to take more of a dense but still quite long brush, and I will just again wipe that on a little bit of tissue to make sure that it's actually clean, because I'm going to go in with a bit more of that reveal shade. I'm really going to try and pack that right onto the inner corner, and I feel like perhaps a slightly fluffier brush might work a little bit better. So yes, that's worked better than that really, really dense small brush that I was trying to pack that on with before, like that pencil brush. So really tapping that onto that inner corner, but I'm trying to not get any fallout as well. So I'm really like pressing this in so that it properly presses onto the skin and doesn't fall out everywhere. I think I have managed to do that semi-successfully. I am also just going to take a little bit of that reveal shade and almost like run it up through the inner half of the crease, again just to like brighten right on like the inner part of the eye. So at this stage I am going to take a little bit of the setting spray that I used on the rest of my face once I've checked that there is no more fallout. I have already set all of my base products, but I'm going to just spray this sort of a little bit closer to the eyes, but still like disperse it quite a bit to really lock in all of these colours and so that none of this like glitter smudges around the place. So I'll just give it a shake. That's better, and keep my hair out the way and just spray that over where the eyeshadow is, and I'll wait until that is completely dry before I open my eyes and continue. There we go, so all of that is locked in now. And for the liner mascara combo, it is hot today. I am leaving the house and I'm going to be out late, so these two, the 17 Ink Legend Tattoo Eyeliner, I've just got the black one out here. I suppose you could do blue if you wanted to like bring out a little bit more of that blue. I'm happy to just have black today. And then the P. Louise Tear Proof Mascara. That is like, today is the day where I need my mascara to last, and this is absolutely the one that I'm going to go for. So let's start with the liner. I'm going to do a big black wing. Who saw that coming? Okay, so that's the liner done. We are not talking about this eye. We're just not talking about it. I basically just had to take everything off and then do it all over again because I did the wing and then I went to just fiddle with something with a smudgy little brush. Ended up with liner all up here. Had to redo it. So that's the liner, and that's the liner. Now for mascara. Like I say, the P. Louise Tear Proof. This is just the black one. I do believe that they have 2 different shades of brown, which is like very interesting to me. I don't love this brush, but long-lasting mascara she certainly is, and that's exactly what I need today. So I'm going to do a few healthy layers of this mascara and then we are done. Like liner usually takes me like 2 minutes. It's a fairly quick process for me now, especially with that 17 one. It's very, very quick and very, very easy. And obviously I'm slightly under the weather at the minute, so I was like, let's just do a wing, it'll make me feel better, and it has. However, this little clip here, I have been filming for 34 minutes. That is how long it just took me to fix that liner. 34 minutes that I certainly do not have just for liner. There we go. That is the finished look. Considering that this is just a cool tone smoky eye, that took me much longer than it needed to. But I do feel like over the course of, you know, this little clip for look number 3, I do feel like my voice has slowly started to come back at least a little bit. So that's something. So this is look number 3. She's a classic. I definitely overcomplicated her, but I'm really happy with how this one turned out as well. So I would love to know which out of these 3 looks was your favourite. What did I do for look number 1? Oh, it was that shifty one in the top corner, wasn't it? I do think that that's my favourite shade out of all of these, Gravitate, because it's so shifty. It's so, like, it just goes to so many different colours. I really, really enjoy it. I must say I do like that Moonlight shade. That's very bright and very sort of smooth and like foiled. I really, really like that one. I could definitely have used that like on the inner corner as well. Oh, I was definitely meaning to use that Eclipse shade as well. That like matte black with the shimmers in it. Never mind. I will say the look that I did for look number 2 with the blues, Magnetic, definitely disappointed me a little bit. I will try and use it in a few different ways, like in my real life off camera. I will try and use it, but that one definitely wasn't as reflective as I thought it was going to be. It definitely didn't give me as much as I thought it would and how much I wanted, but I mean the blue look turned out nice as well. I would love to know which out of the 3 was your favourite. Considering I don't really like a cool toned smoky eye, I do quite like the way that this one's turned out with like the little hint of that like plummy purpley shade. I really, really like it. So that is my 3 looks with Cooltrals. If you want to see a full like ranking video where I go through all of my cosmic brushes, palettes, and go through them all, decide which one out of all of the ones that I have is my favourite. There are a couple that I don't have, but I've got a lot of them. So if you want to see a full ranking video going through all of the palettes that I have from Cosmic Brushes and deciding which one is like tippity top, then be sure to subscribe because I will be doing that soon. I'll be doing that as soon as I get my voice back. So if you want to see that, subscribe down below. If you like this video, despite the fact that I sound like a teenage boy, please give this one a big thumbs up. But until next time, thank you ever so much for watching. Bye.